Alright guys, welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. It has been quite a few days since I've last uploaded on this channel. Two reasons. One, I was on holiday, but also kind of waiting for the right time to come back because for the drama, they not want to deal with that, right? But we got some massive leaks and also some updates. Also, I got to start the video by saying, one, if you're new, subscribe, but also the way they're doing card leaks nowadays, not that they intentionally do it, right? But before we used to get the card and like what they do, now we kind of don't. We kind of get the cards, who they actually are and what they do, but not the card art. So because of that, I know a lot of you other content creators aren't even bothered talking about them because if you don't know, or if you don't have the picture of the characters, it's kind of hard to talk about on video. However, of course, for the video, we have gone out of our way to kind of make the card arts a little bit just wrapped on a PNG so you lot know what you're looking at and know what we're talking about. But because of that, we can have to talk about the old cards because we kind of already spoke about them, but we haven't gotten the card arts, but now we actually do, if that made all sense, right? But let's start with the first. We're not going to dwell too much on these ones because people might have already seen them, but this is Redshift 2-3 Series 4 card. Discard the leftmost card in your hand and add a random card of the same cost. To be fair, I don't really dwell too much on discard deck, so is it good? Maybe. If you play it, let me know. This I'm excited for, though. This is Series 4 Silver Surfer. I think we spoke a little bit about it, I'm not entirely too sure, but this actually will be a Season Pass card, but the premium Season Pass alongside Galactus, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, pretty simple one. 3-4 at the end of turn if you win this location with an on-reveal card, copy its text, which is, I think the thing that people point out, and the best thing about this card is it copies the text, right? So it does work with Surge, so you will copy the Surge text and keep the text, which means you will then be able to proc it twice, basically, which is actually probably the coolest interaction you can do with this card a little bit. But I guess a simple way is just thinking of it as like a one-time one, essentially, right? Like you play it on free, play a full-cost card, whether it be like Gwenpool or like Kahori, and just double the on-reveal, because you've got to assume you're going to probably likely win that next lane. But yeah, it does keep its text, so you can then just copy it again with like a Absorber Man or even do like an Odin stuff. So some cool directions a little bit. It does do at the end of the turn though. Not too sure that's going to work with Invisible Woman, who procs end of turns twice. I guess you will lose this ability because you do copy its text, which is probably why that is actually there. We've got next card, Series 5 Stardust. Cards can't be added to locations except by playing or moving them. This is essentially a way to counter, I guess, Hela, if ever comes back a little bit, play this card. She literally cannot spawn cards. Yes, that idea behind it. You can't play Hela, you can't play, or you can play Rhino actually, and it will actually not even spawn the rock. And I guess that also goes for Sentry. Playing Sentry after this card means you can't summon the actual negative void, and also I guess Jubilee as well. I think people are in agreement this is going to be like a case by case, like if the meta calls for it then you use it, but this is probably not something you're going to put in your deck too much. Terrax Series 4 card. For each location, shuffle a rock into the losing player's deck, which ideally, because it's a 3-3, are you really going to win all 3 locations? Maybe. You're probably going to get this to go to like at least once or twice, or hopefully not once, but at least twice, which will then be like kind of the same as a rock slide. But you can also use rock slide as well. I guess the idea a little bit is to kind of buff up the actual Darkhawk decks, but do you really need to buff them up? Like, is the support they need is more rocks in the deck? Maybe. This one's, yeah, there's a reason why it's Series 4. The Fallen one is probably actually be a crazy card. On reveal, set the max power equal to this card's power. He's a 5-5. You're never going to play him as a 5-5. You're going to at least play Galacta down, which is then going to go towards, is then what? Going to go to a 5-8. So you're going to have 8 energy on turn 6, and it's only just doing Galacta. If you want to buff them up prior, then you also can do that as well, like a Surge, for example. Anything to just buff them up. Yeah, this one's going to be crazy. We finally got official artwork of Galactus' first steps. I think we've barely even seen Galactus from the actual like movie, and we've now seen him first kind of in Marvel Snap, at least the full body of it, right? But yeah, what he does do is, My Herald is the next card I see you play. So if you play, let's say, turn 1, you start with Hydra Bob and Galactus. You play Hydra Bob. Hydra Bob is now the Herald of Galactus, which means if you're winning that location on turn 1, or basically at the end of the turn, you are going to get +3, but only to Galactus. I think there was some confusion. People thought the card, like the Herald, would get +3, or the location would get +3, but no, it's literally only Galactus, which means, yeah, you could get upwards, I think it was like 33 power, right? If you win every single location and you play the Herald out on turn 1. But yeah, it could possibly be the biggest 6-cost card in the game. Firelord is a Series 4 card. On reveal, revive one of your discarded or destroy 3-cost cards here. I think there's also He's a 4 cost, right? I think there's a 3 cost that later on we talk about. That kind of goes well with this card. I think that's kind of the gimmick of this card. I don't have it up right now. Cosmic Ghost Rider. It's the first time I've seen it, actually. This is crazy artwork. But yeah, he's 5/7. Crazy card, actually. On reveal, is it crazy, actually? On reveal, remove the text of the front row cards here. So basically, just a full encounter towards like Captain Carter is literally just going to remove the first 2 cards at the locations text, which it's good for ongoing, right? That's as simple as that. Because ongoing, you want to typically play ongoing cards down. You're going to completely remove it. I mean, it's kind of the only good thing about the card a little bit. Because typically, cards have on reveals. Or they have like, or like Galacta, for example. And by the time you play this card, because you are playing on turn 5. You don't have priority going towards turn 5. Then they may have already done what they wanted to do. Airwalker, when this is destroyed, replace it with a 4-cost card in your hand or deck. Which is, yeah, I think what we just talked about, right? Revive one of your destroyed 3-cost cards here. So I think the idea is you play Airwalker, destroy him on 4. He then replace it with 4 costs, which will be this card here. So he will replace it with 4/6, and he will also resurrect the same card. So destroying this card will give you like a kind of a 10 power card because you're resurrecting the 4 costs, and he's resurrecting himself. So yeah, maybe that's the only thing you do with this card. Frankie Ray, I'm actually looking forward to this one. After you play a 6-cost card, double this card's power. So I think she's the herald towards Galactus a little bit, right? So I think that's the gimmick they want to go towards. You buff this card up, right? And then typically there's not a lot of times you want to play just a 6-cost card on turn 6. However, if this is 9 power and your Galactus is 32 power, you play Galactus, assuming you win that location, and then this doubles up towards like 18 power, right? So yeah, I kind of like it a little bit. We have to wait and see how it plays out, but there's also some other things you can do with it anyway. We're definitely gonna do some negative selling stuff with this card. You know we are. So yeah, that's all of the card we've seen previously. If you hadn't seen them, that is the cards. Now let's get the official look at the new leaks that literally dropped today. Weird cards, I won't lie to you lot. So we have, I think, Awesome Andy, I believe his name was, and he's a 2/1 Series 4 card. Activate, give one of your cards at each location plus 2 power, which in turn he's basically a 2/5. Kind of think of it as like a mini version of Nomura, right? It doesn't have to be one card at one location. You can just have more than 1 cards and you'll still get the +2. But sure. I don't know, like, I guess you might want to give that towards what the card we just saw, Frankie Ray. It's like, it'll have his uses a little bit more so towards cards that double, I would say. Then we have our first Series 5 card. This is, I believe it's Bastion, which I think lore-wise is meant to be like it's either something to do with Sentinels, right? Which is kind of what he's done in his actual, like, on reveal. On reveal, add copies, so I think 2 of them. Or I guess it could be 3, right? It's just whoever's in that location. So typically, probably likely 2, because you don't want to fill up this location with this card. So add the copies of the cards here to your hand. Set their cost to 2 and 3. So it's kind of like a reverse Sentinel in a sense, right? Where Sentinel's adding stuff to their hand, he's adding stuff to your hand, but you're always just setting their cost to 2 to 3. I mean, off the top of my head right now, not too sure how crazy it's going to be. I guess if you can somehow get a card down early, like a big cost card, and you can then set it back to your hand to 2 power plus 3. Then we have Danger, which is activate. Destroy enemy card here with less power. 4/6 to be fair, so it's actually kind of decent. I mean, it's a guaranteed destroy card. I mean, obviously with less power, but you once again, you can always buff it up, right, with other things and just play Galacta beforehand. And then it's now a 4/9. It's going to destroy most things in the game, at least stuff that's kind of important. All right, now we have a new Human Torch, Series 5. I think it's Jim Hammond, right? At the start of each turn, +1 power for each bonus energy you have. So how does that work then? If I'm not mistaken, let me know in the comment below. But I assume the card is literally just, if you have plus energy, so if you use like a Psylocke, right, next turn you get the plus energy sign. He's going to get 1 plus power, which gives you plus max energy or bonus energy, right? Then you'll get, obviously, +2. So I think the idea a little bit, he's just going to be a 1/1 throughout the course of the game. But then you use the fallen one, and you get, like, 5 plus extra energy. So, like, let's say you get him up to 10 power, which might not be that hard to do, right? At the start of turn 6, he is then going to get +5 from the fallen energy, because you give me, like, +10 power. It starts at each turn though, so you can stack it up. So you can go into towards like turn 7 and you get 5 more energy. So like the payoff, if you do really build up and ramp up your energy, could be kind of crazy. Especially if you can follow one. Follow one increases your max energy. Same for Wiccan, for example, right? So Wiccan work really well too. Just like the one-time energy buffers like Psylocke or what's the name? Kale? Jennifer Kale aren't gonna be too great because they're gonna be like one-time uses. So low ceiling, but like high floor a little bit. All right, then we have, it's just a really long name. I'm just going to call it Omega Sentinel. Series, all right, then we have Jocasta. I think that's how you pronounce the name, right? She's Could be a crazy one, actually, depending on how it plays. So, 3/3, activate. Immediately activate your other cards here. So, cards, so you can be more than one, actually, without using the activate ability. Now, the word is kind of weird. So, let's just use Scarlet Spider, for example, right? If I play Scarlet Spider, or you place on 3, then you play Scarlet Spider on 4. If I then activate it, Scarlet Spider will then use its ability, or its activate, and on turn 5, you can still use Scarlet Spider's ability. But I think the wording a little bit has me curious a little bit about how it activates if you, say, use this on turn 3, or you play her on turn 3, play Scarlet Spider on 4, but you don't use her ability, then on turn 5, you activate this ability alongside the Scarlet Spider. Would it activate Scarlet Spider's ability twice? I assume not. I think the way the wording is, especially because it's... Now, maybe it's Series 5, though, so I don't know. This one's confusing me a little bit. I mean, especially all the move stuff like Aranya, some other cards we're going to see in the future. Oh, it's going to be crazy what you can do this a little bit, especially considering you have Invisible Woman as well that activates the end of turn abilities twice. You can then do that twice now. Yeah, this is going to be a crazy card. Series 4, Omega Sentinel, I believe they're calling it. It's a really long name. Afflict the highest power enemy card with -7. 4/3 though, so she's basically a 4/10 minus card. Sure. Then we have Mora X, which I don't know the lore behind this character. It might be related to Wolverine. I'm not too sure. But when this is destroyed, get a copy of your opening hand, which... I mean, I don't use that much destroy decks. Not too sure how crazy it's going to be. I guess the simple or best way about looking about it would be like getting or starting with no or like death. And if you destroy this card, you then get a copy of no and death again. And you can then play both of them because you presumably got obviously X23 on the board too. That might be the only thing you use this card for. Probably the card I'm looking forward to the most. Sparky is activate. Give the last card that moved +2 power and move it back to its previous location. Crazy card, especially considering they nerfed Aranya. Aranya, if you don't know, she moves the next card you play and gives it +1, then moves it. So that is just like crazy synergy. Play Aranya on 1, play this on 2, and then play Torch on 3. Activate Aranya, activate this, because I think the way it works is Aranya will move Torch, which will then give him +1, make him a 3 cost, move him, he's now basically a 1/6, and then because it's the last card you moved, you activate this card again, all on turn 3 by the way, gives the last card plus power before it actually moves, so he will then go from what, a 1/6, give it to 1/8, and move it back towards the previous location, giving him basically 8 power, moving it, giving it 16. So all on turn 3, your Human Torch is now 16 power. And because if you're playing Human Torch on turn 3, you still have 2 power, you can actually play the Madam Web prior to before the Human Torch. So Human Torch is now the Madam Web lane on turn 3. On turn 4, move it out, 32 power, copy it back with Frigga or bounce it. You've won the game. Absolutely crazy. Then we have Super Adeptoid, which I think, maybe I got the wrong artwork. It looks like Electro with like Lizard and Craven all merged together. Yeah, and like Mysterio. What even is this card? I don't know what it is. But steal the text from an opponent's activate card here. 3/5. Yeah, this is don't know how with the way you see. We did get a lot of activates this season, which is probably why this card's coming out. And maybe we'll start to see more. But you rarely see that many. But now with Spider-Ham getting changed, you might see more. And then the final card, which has been in the game for a long time now. This is actually a beta artwork, I think it is, from like the game first launched. She is actually the Season Pass card. End of turn. Give each card in your hand, crazy by the way, +1 if you're winning this location. If not, move to another location, which you're going to proc a move ability, which can buff Craven, I guess, or just other move stuff like Miles. And then just keep on moving at the end of the turn. Once again, it can also be used, I think, with like Invisible Woman. So it will give +1 twice if you know for a fact you're going to give that guarantee win. But if not, I wonder if it will move and then check if it wins and then give +1 because you activate it twice. So yeah, those are all of the cards that got leaked. But surprisingly, there's kind of more as well. So we kind of covered all the other cards that have been actually leaked, but there are some new name cards that just don't have abilities. We have Colonel America. Herbie's also been buffed up. He's now a 2/3. They also buffed up on the other card, which would give your adjacent locations +1 power. We're now just activate, give 2 of your cards at each location +1 power. Much better. Headpool is apparently becoming a card. Bear in mind, these could be like limited time game mode stuff, so it's not guaranteed this is going to be a playable card. It could be even a spell, for example, right? Who knows? We just don't have all the details. Mr. Fantastic, remember, it's going to be a Season Pass card. It's now been nerfed already. That's kind of crazy, actually, that they nerfed the Season Pass card before it comes out. Shows you how crazy this card's going to actually be. Spider-Ham, if you didn't see it, got a rework. We'll probably cover that in like a day or two. The Hunger... Once again, that I don't know if that's going to... Is that actually a player? Which I guess is a character. Oh, is it the Morbius villain? No way. Is that what he's called? Oh, this actually just got updated. Warlock, I don't think was here before, so unlucky. Warlock, activate. For each unspent energy you have, give a card in your hand -1 power. How much power is he as well? 3/4. Okay, yeah, a lot of activates this season, actually, which is, yeah, crazy. For each unspent energy, so you do that on turn. Wait, that's crazy, actually. So, if you lot don't know, Invisible Man activate re-triggers your end of turn abilities, and there's a fear right now that the end of turn unspent energy you have right here is going to proc twice with Sunspot. So if it does, you skip turn 6, for example, you skip turn 5, that's 5+ energy, you're going to get minus... That's crazy, actually. For unspent energy, give a card in your hand -1 power, so you're going to get -5 on a card, and then you have normally Shield in the deck, which hopefully doesn't hit Shield. Hopefully Shield procs before that. Now, I don't think it does, though. If it hits Shield, that's really bad. But you can hit, like, Infinite and like other Hulk stuff. That could be crazy, actually. Okay, this is gonna be crazy, no? This is mental. We're gonna zombie season. Zombie Captain Marvel, Zombie Giant Man, Galacti, or Galacti, Zombie Horde, Zombie Mr. Fantastic, his 3rd card, by the way. So at this point, we need to get the 4th one. Zombie Man, Scarlet, and Sentry. That could be a new game mode. Who's Galacti and Giant Man? Is it just Ant-Man? Okay. Is that meant to be Ant-Man? Or just Giant Man? Okay, and then what about Galacti? Oh, actually it's just Galactus, so we're getting another Galactus. Sick. Zombie Horde could be a spell, though. We don't have any details on these right now. And then finally, we have some other stuff here. We have actually new packs. This is kind of funny because I think literally Cozy and Regis and obviously Alex were talking about the podcast, saying like, where the hell would the Snap packs gone? Now we have all of them, which is, yeah, every single one in the game. Like the Hydras, Illuminati, Inhumans. You'll reach at some point, I guess. They're not all reached together. So yeah, they actually are cards. Zombie season, that's crazy. Then we have new variants. We'll just kind of quickly scroll through them. Ultimates 1, 2. There are a lot of like realistic ones. These are also, I think, so many Deadpools, bro. Oh my god. Bruise, that armor looks pretty good though. Yeah, I don't know if there's a new studio doing it, but there's a lot of like realistic ones now. You see like obviously Enchantress. Galactus, crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Gomorrah, I don't really like that one. Herbie's now official artwork. We haven't shown that one already. Some more like fantasy stuff, which is kind of cool. More actual variants for the Fantastic Four first steps, which is also good too. Because I kind of thought they weren't going to get any of that, to be fair. Polaris looks good too. Mystique actually look kind of nice. We're doing. Is that the full artwork? Is that actually going to be the black background? That could look like a good split. Red Guard looks pretty good. Red Shift's variants 2. Scream. Silver Surfer first steps 1. I don't think this is like the full-on backgrounds, right? Yeah, they're not 100% not working. They look sick, though. Actually, I'm actually going to use that card quite a lot. Simic Spider-Man getting 1, 2. Thaddeus. That thing looks jokes. I think that's it. And then these ones have actual release dates. Ooh. Oh, that one's... Oi, this is sick. It got to be an event, right? Like, I think they're dropping the champion season with the Fantastic Four. So you got to assume at least some of them are going to be through... the actual event. So yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap up today's video. Thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.